Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
That was kind of loud, I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it's me or you, guys. Giorgio stole half of the equipment out of the office to go do something this weekend, and now maybe my hearing improved too, though. That's a possibility. Can your hearing improve?
I mean, these headphones are pretty great, so.
Yeah, I suppose. So today we have Autumn Schlimmer. Tell people who you are. No pressure, nothing.
Yeah,
I just like,
right.
I don't like to ask people questions before the show starts because I want to be able to react in real time to what's happening.
Yeah.
So that's why I've been sitting here silently, but it's not anything you did.
No, I've had that happen a
Good.
lot. It's fine. I
Just
enjoy
in
it.
life in general or doing
Yeah.
interviews?
So, you know, I'm 31 years old. I joined the military right out of high school. I was a canine handler, and then I got kicked out super unjustly, and then getting kicked out with an OTH. You know,
OTH is other than honorable. By the way.
correct. So it leaves you in this like crazy gray area where, you know, it's not a dishonorable, but you do have to get a lawyer in order to get it changed. And I'm still a canine handler. I'm working out of DC right now, so it's a good time.
So you, what was the type of separation exactly?
The type of separation was an other than honorable.
Okay, and what were the charges? Under what articles?
A 92.
Okay.
So I went to a captain's mass, which is similar to, I think it's a 15 in the Army.
We a 15-6 is an investigative panel, yeah.
Okay.
Or an investigation in general, yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the charge exactly? What were they accusing you of doing?
So I had a statement written against me by an MA saying that he suspected that I was using drugs.
Okay.
And that's what I was kicked out on.
And they drug tested you, I would imagine?
No. So if you want to start to finish.
Yeah, let's do that.
To give a brief overview, I was called into a room. I was never, read my rights or anything. It was just two guys sitting there, super informal. And it was just accusatory, like, hey, we know that you're using drugs. We have a statement written against you, and we just want you to tell us what happened. I'm like, hey, man, like, I don't know what to tell you guys, but definitely not using drugs.
Right.
And
I mean, there's a pretty easy way to tell, right? A drug
Yeah.
test, which is mandatory in the military in the first place.
right, and this is my very first command. So
Okay.
I joined in 2009 and went through delayed entry program. As soon as I graduated, I went to MA school, and then they took volunteers for Canine.
What's
so
MA? What does that mean?
MA is Master at Arms, so that's like your police academy.
Oh, I see. So it's like an MP for the Army, basically the same thing.
Correct. And then
Okay.
I went straight from MA school to Canine.
And I would assume you had a JAG attorney representing you during this process, right?
Well, that would have been helpful, but no.
So no. I actually don't know the law in the military. Are they required in the same way that a civilian trial would be required to provide you counsel? Are they required to, or is it on you to go find counsel?
It is your choice. So a captain's mass is local to your command, and a court martial is the more serious, similar to like a court trial, where you have outside commands coming in to review the evidence.
But don't you have to, if it doesn't rise past the company, captain, what is that, a battalion level, I guess? If it doesn't rise past a certain level, there have to be multiple infractions to justify separation, at least in the Army. So if you have to have multiple Article 15s, and even then you get charged under a different article, which is to say it's a pattern of willful disobedience or something like that, right?
Yeah, correct.
So you were just kind of marshaled out.
Correct. And I was in the Navy, not going to school, but actually in the Navy for a total of 3 months. So I got to my command and was given a dog, and then after a week had my dog taken away. I was moved to a separate room. So I had a roommate. I was moved to a single. And then a week later, I'm getting called in, being asked about drugs, asked about who's using them, what's going on, what's happening on the base. I was never drug tested. I had purchased a vehicle, so I had my room searched, I had my vehicle searched, was never found in possession, was never drug tested. So it was all very informal, which from my first command, I just kind of thought that they were fucking with me.
Yeah. You mean
Coming in like you're the new MA and we're going to see if you know anything.
Right.
Even though I wasn't even there long enough to go through my first training cycle. So it's absolutely insane to me now looking back, even though I was only 18 and this is my first command. I don't know what was supposed to happen, but I know that it's incredibly.
What was the command you were in?
It was Weapons Station Earl in New Jersey. So the base itself is pretty large, but in terms of how many people are there, I mean, it was like 15 people on this whole base. I mean, we didn't have a next. There was no gas station. There was nothing. I think there was 6 MAs total.
And who was the commander there?
Still looking for that. I don't remember.
Well, who did you talk to? Like who accused you of a crime? You have to have a person's name, right?
Well, yeah, I should have, but I requested all of my paperwork, and all that we were given from the base and what we could collect from the records in DC was 1 performance evaluation and my DD-214.
Interesting. And you don't remember, I mean, obviously you weren't there long, but 3 months is enough time to remember some people's names.
I have Ewing, Ewing, was signed on my paperwork. I know the female's last name that accused me. I know the male's last name that wrote the formal statement saying that he suspected that I was using drugs.
And what are those people's names?
Pedersen was the last name of the female that was there. I remember her name because her and I were in MA school together. I didn't really know her, but they took volunteers to go Canine at the time. So you had to volunteer. You obviously had to make it through the interview process, but her, myself, and one other sailor from that MA school graduated, made it to Canine. She ended up washing out like the second week, but she was my roommate at the command.
Okay.
And then the dude that wrote the statement against me, his last name was Stankich.
Interesting. That's a stupid name.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, from your perspective, you feel like you just got railroaded, but there's always some kind of reason, right? I mean, what the fuck what could possibly have caused somebody to do something like that?
Well, and that's what I've been trying to piece together. I mean, I got to my command in day 1. I mean, I hadn't even gotten to my room yet. I set my bags down. We had started getting like a tour of the base, and I immediately was called into my security officer's office, told to stand at attention, and was asked why I was a fucking barracks bunny, why my hair was this color, what did I think I was doing. I'm coming into this base day 1, and I have a reputation.
Right.
So I was promptly driven off base to
Why your hair is that color?
Why my hair is this color.
Like, you mean blonde?
Yes.
Okay, cool. My understanding of the UCMJ is that your hair can be any color that appears in nature.
Correct.
Even if you've altered it, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Anyways, continue.
Yep. So I was driven off base to purchase hair dye for a more natural looking hair color. And this is my first command. My security officer is a female. So I'm thinking, okay, great. They're going to be hard on me, but I'm sure she has my best interest at heart. You know, I'm going to be the only canine officer here soon. And I haven't had any problems yet, so just shut up and just go along with it. Who cares? At the end of the day, she'll see that my roots will grow out, and in 2 months everything will be fine. And it just wasn't. The next week, I worked my dog for a couple days. Nothing was wrong with the dog from what I could see health wise. And they sent the dog back. The handler that was there ended up leaving. So I was there by myself, and they shipped the dog back. They said for whatever reason, he wasn't finding odor, just was too timid. I mean, there's many reasons why they could send a dog back.
Yeah, for sure.
They never told me what it was. Then I was just put on midnight gate duty. And
what is it? What happens at Weapons Station Earl? Can you explain what that is and what happens there?
I couldn't tell you.
Really?
Really. I mean, I was there for 3 months, and I worked the gate. I didn't go through training cycles. I didn't do anything. I wasn't there to do my fucking job, that's for sure, because they took that away from me pretty quick. And then you put someone on midnight gate duty, that's all you're doing is standing in the gate. There's no one there to check in, so.
According to the interweb, it is a 2.9-mile pier in the Sandy Hook Bay where ammunition can be loaded and unloaded from warships at a safe distance from heavily populated areas. So it's in the middle of nowhere then, kind of.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting. And the goal of that base is to load and unload battle carriers, I would imagine, and battleships and things like that. So did you have any issues in your A school and training,
No.
basic or any of that stuff?
No, I loved it.
Like you said you may have had some kind of reputation before you got there. What do you mean by that? Just because you're a woman with blonde hair or what?
She just said when I showed up that she had been informed of my presence and that I had a reputation and that I looked like a barracks bunny, so she was going to fix that.
What does that mean to look like a barracks bunny exactly?
Apparently it means to not look like a total haggard Navy chick. I don't know.
And you don't remember the female commander's name?
No.
I mean, that should be easy enough to find out using the interweb.
And she was there. This was 2011.
Yeah, I mean, it seems and how many people is this a squadron? I don't know how the Navy does shit. I honestly don't understand. So, how is it? We call a group of fucking 40 people or so a platoon. What would you call that?
Yeah, I mean, you have your class of MAs, but I don't know what they called it.
Okay.
A lot of what I've had to do is literally talk to my friends that are in the military currently to piece together a lot of the terminology because I just wasn't in long enough to actually have to learn this.
Right. So what happened next? You get or describe the process of the OTH when you were presented with these accusations, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, and you're taken off base to this thing somewhere else. Was it at another military base? Where was it?
No. I never left Earl. Everything was done at Earl. So I was just pulled off of duty and called in about 4 times. And it was just the same questions over and over. They search your room. They don't find anything. They call you back in again. Who's doing drugs? Where are you keeping the drugs? Where have you been using the drugs? You ask them why I haven't been drug tested. They just say, well, we asked the questions here. Don't worry about it. You know, we're talking to other people, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. So it was very much they weren't going to take no for an answer. And at no time was it ever discussed, like, you don't have to sit in this room for 4 hours. Like, you just, you have to sit in this room for 4 hours until we're done questioning you. When I was told I was being captain's masked, I had about 7 days in between when I was informed verbally that I was going to be captain's masked and when the captain's mask actually happened. So I walked into the JAG office and there was no one there. I ended up having to call 2 or 3 other bases, one of which answered the phone. And when I spoke to that JAG, they said, well, why are you waiting until the last minute? 7 days, like, we can't get someone out to your base in that amount of time. That's
right.
just, that's insane. So essentially because JAG from that base didn't want to do their fucking job and just come and represent me, or at least get a hold of the command and say, you can't hold a captain's mask with this person until they have representation available. I went to a captain's mask without representation. But if you haven't been drug tested, you're not found in possession, nothing else has come of it, like, do you really think you need representation? Honestly.
I mean, I guess it depends on, from my perspective, if somebody was trying to bring me in for something like that, for something that I knew for a fact could be easily solved by simply taking a drug test, which they're entitled to do anyways,
right,
then I would have said no. I would not have gone to the captain's mask. But I'm a different kind of asshole, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not the person that I am today. I was 18 years old.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
So you go to the captain's mast, and how does that go? This is an Article 15 hearing for those of you who are in the Army. So how did that go for you?
You show up, you stand at attention, and I don't know how many hours I was there, but I was told by my captain face to face that my reputation is ruined. It's just ruined. They didn't find anything, but they know I was doing drugs. And even if I went to another command, they would know. And everyone else would know. And everyone in the canine community already knows. And it doesn't matter. And I said no at least 3 times. Just admit to what you've done. This is insane. We already know. Just admit to what you've done. So there's only so long I'm going to stand there and say no before you start second guessing yourself. Saying, okay, well, if I do go somewhere else, is this going to be the next 4 years of my life? Like standing midnight gate duty, not getting to do my job, just getting shit on, being told that I'm a piece of shit. And, you know, is that the best option? Do I just get out? And I broke. Like I'm not a fucking SEAL. I don't know how to do, I wasn't that strong of a person. I was coming into the military because I had a really shitty family and I was looking for camaraderie. I didn't want to stay in my small town. I didn't want to do nothing. I wanted to do something with my life. And up until that point, the military was the place to do it. I had a great time in A school. I had a great time at Canine school. I never once was made to feel like I wasn't good enough or that I shouldn't have been there. I was surrounded for the first time in my life by people who legitimately helped me. And if you fuck something up, here was 4 ways that you could fix it, and that's how it should be. And then I get to this command, and within 3 weeks, I'm a druggie and a piece of shit, and I can't do anything right, so I might as well just get out.
Right. When you said you broke, what do you mean by that?
Oh, I just said yes.
So you signed documentation saying that you did drugs?
Yeah.
And what does that look like in the Navy? I mean, on an Article 15 or a counseling statement in the Army, you can sign to the effect that you've received it and understand it, but it isn't an admission of guilt. Is that not the case in the Navy?
So in the Navy, what they did was after my captain's mast and after I admitted to what I had done, they sat me down and they gave me a list of papers saying that I had waived my right to counsel and that I essentially accepted all of the terms of the captain's mast, which come to find out that should have been done before the actual captain's mast. But it's like a general statement saying that you agree to the proceedings and how it was done, and you just accept the terms of service.
Right.
Is kind of the best way I can describe it.
And the terms included separation with an other than honorable designation?
Correct. And I didn't know I had literally never heard of that. So.
Well, the internet existed then, though, right?
Right.
You could have looked that up. I mean, that's
100%,
it was not smart on your part.
Oh, no.
To do any of this.
When I was 18, my coping mechanism for stress was just to stick my head in the sand. And if I had just called a few more people, this could have gone away and I would still be in the military. So I'm not going to say that I'm not going to come on the show and accept the blame on my part for not taking those extra steps, but it was what it was. So I signed a piece of paper. I have my other than honorable. I'm thinking, okay, well, it's not a dishonorable, so I'm not totally fucked. And I get sent to 30 days restriction, 30 days extra duty, and I'm out of the military.
How long did it take to chapter you out? I mean, it's a pretty small base, so probably not very long since you hadn't been in for very long.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
you just have to turn in your equipment and shit and go to medical or whatever. Yeah,
if my captain's mast was on a Friday, I was shredding papers for a week, and then that next weekend, I was driven down to Norfolk for the 30-day restriction, 30-day extra duty.
So they sent you to a different base to do your extra duty. That's weird. I don't know if I've ever heard of that. I guess, though, if that place is so small, what would you even do? It would be weird. Okay, so now you're out of the Navy. What happens next?
Well, after I got out, I received a bill for $2,300 because I needed to pay back the travel expenses for the military because I didn't fulfill my 4-year requirement.
What travel expenses?
They said that it was travel for plane. It was plane travel. So like they counted my travel from, I'm guessing, boot camp to A school from Texas to Jersey. They didn't provide me with a breakdown of like what exactly I'm paying for. It was just, hey, if you don't pay this, we're going to garnish your wages.
Right. Well, the Department of Defense, or I guess OPM, will do that quickly. It'll take them 4 months to give you money that they owe you, but they'll fuck you over pretty quickly if you owe them money. So now you're out, and you get a bill for $2,300, and what? Are you going to school or something? What are you doing?
No, I moved to Vegas and I just started bartending because that was the fastest way for me to just get cash in my pocket. And once I had saved up a little bit of money, I got a lawyer with the Military Justice Center, tried to pull whatever paperwork we could, which they didn't have any. So it was my word against theirs. Mm-hmm. You find anybody who you can to write character statements for you, and then they just send it to the Naval Board of Reviews. And
this is the Military Justice Center is a organization that does like pro bono work for stuff like this. I'm not familiar with them.
It's definitely not pro bono, but for me, it was the first office of lawyers that I had been introduced to that worked or had at least worked with military legal in the past. Mm-hmm. So I just said, I got to get the process started. I only have a certain amount of time. I'll just pay this guy.
And you're just trying to get your shit upgraded at this point, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You're not trying to challenge. You're not trying to dispute the findings. You're just trying to get your designation upgraded.
Well, they never had any findings to.
Well, they have a piece of paper you signed saying
Right.
you did shit, right? So that's
so yeah.
part of it.
So you essentially write a letter saying, hey, this is what the military had. This is what she signed. This is the process of essentially coercion, and because they tried to kick me out for drugs, but they never drug tested me, and I was never found to be in possession. Yes, she signed this piece of paper, but is this really right? And we sent it to the Naval Review Board, and they ultimately decided that, no, that wasn't right, and I got my upgrade.
And when was that?
7 months ago.
So, oh, shit. So you start, what year did you start this process?
I had the lawyer on retainer 6 years ago.
If you don't mind me asking, how much have you paid this lawyer?
It was about $5,000 total.
6 years is a long time.
Yeah. And for a 19-year-old that just had busted rank and
Well, I mean, you waited a while, right? Because it was what year did you get discharged? You said you're 31 now?
2011.
2011
was when I got discharged. It took me 3 years to save up the cash to retain the lawyer, and then it took me about another year to try to get a hold of a few people who were at the command to give me character references. And then once it was submitted, the initial submission was to a different board. I don't remember what name it was, but they have 2 different review boards. And it was kind of like a 2-step process. They looked at the case, they said, okay, this is a valid case, but we are not the board to review this. We're going to forward this to the Naval Review Board. And I got the upgrade 7 months ago, and they said, we'll send you your DD-214, which I still have not received.
Right. I don't know. Again, this is another question I'm not sure about. Now, I know that the Ferries Doctrine has, in a lot of ways, been overturned because we helped overturn it. And we'll have Richard Stayskull back on the show pretty soon to discuss that and other things. But I mean, irreparable damage has been done to your character and financial status and career by the Navy, right? So you should.
For the last 10 years, I have essentially either had to get a waiver to work or I didn't get the job.
Right.
because you pass a basic background check, but when you have an OTH, you can't get a security clearance, which
Right.
I'm still in the canine realm, so I kind of fucking need that.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you considered the possibility? And I'm not sure if it's even legal because suing the federal government or a department of the federal government, you basically it's reductive to say this, but you basically need Congress's permission to do something like that.
Yeah.
So is that something that you're considering?
It's
Like a
definitely not
wrongful-
something I want. I'm not here to like come in and shit on the military and be like, I'm going to sue everyone and everything. Like, I'm just here to shine a light on the fact that there are commands using shady tactics and coercion to get young kids who don't know anything to eventually just sign pieces of paper while withholding your fucking rights.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that happens in pretty much every command across the entire military. But so there has to be some kind of precipitous circumstance. I mean, you could chalk it up to maybe jealousy of the MA or an anti-woman attitude or anything. I mean, you can make any kind of reason for it, but I guess in the end, it doesn't really matter. This is effectively a wrongful termination suit, right?
Right.
Like, let's say a company had an anti-drug policy and you violated their policy, but they didn't stick to the collective bargaining agreement, which says there has to be some evidence to that effect. Now, signing a piece of paper is evidence, but if it's coerced signature, there's plenty of case law on the other side of that. I think it's probably important to pursue something in that regard, not just getting the word out, but trying to levy some kind of justice back in the other direction.
Right. And I'm currently looking into if I can hold that captain personally accountable, because from my current understanding in the 2011, during that time frame, a captain doesn't have the authority in a captain's mass to administer an other than honorable. That
No,
is
certainly
only
not,
a
yeah.
power given in a court martial because you have outside command influence reviewing evidence.
Yeah, typically. Well, I mean, so you could serve up an Article 92 if somebody had multiple Article 15s for the same infraction, right? Even if it was
Correct.
something stupid. Like, there is an Article 15 charge called nonverbal disrespect, which means if you don't like the way somebody's standing when you're counseling them or yelling at them, you can charge them. I mean, it's fucking stupid, but that's a thing.
Yeah.
So now you've got your honorable discharge. Yeah, I assume.
Well, I got a general.
General under
under
honorable conditions?
Yeah.
So
Which
how-
for me was enough because I can take that and go get a job. I can go
Right.
get all the jobs that I've been denied for the last 10 years.
So you can't, but you I guess because of the length of stay in the military, you probably aren't really afforded any kind of like the GI Bill and shit like that. You have to be in 18 months for that, right?
Correct. The GI Bill is black and white. I will be able to get my medical benefits back, and I may or may not get vocational rehab for school. So that we'll see.
Okay, so now that you've done that, what's the plan move? I mean, you've been working with dogs already, right?
Yep.
And how has that affected? I mean, I know a lot of those are city, state, and federal government contracts, or at least the companies contract with them. So when you do work like that, typically anybody that's a W-2 at that company has to receive a background check, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty typical. So I guess that's gonna. What are you doing now that doesn't require that?
The company that I'm with now, they have multiple different sites and multiple different contracts. And I have gotten a waiver to, in the meantime, work because I knew I was going through my case and
Right.
I got my upgrade. So I'm good to go. The sites that I'm not able to attend right now because I don't have that clearance, I will be able to get.
So now your
And-
clearance is in process, I guess.
Well, I'm still waiting on my DD-214. They can't do any paperwork until you have that in hand.
Right. Yeah, that shouldn't be very hard to get, though, to be honest. I mean, it's one records way in St. Louis, Missouri. That's where it is right now, if you want to drive there yourself.
Oh, I was given a different address out of Kentucky.
There's files stored all over the place, but the federal repository of those things is in St. Louis. It's on One Records Way. That's the name of the road.
Okay.
I know because I've had to request like my grandfathers and some deceased service members before.
Go ahead and send that to me because the address and phone number that they gave me is clearly not working, and it's been 7 months. So
Yeah.
I got family in St. Louis. I'd be more than happy to drive down there and go pick that up.
I mean, I would stay out of St. Louis. It's a real shithole, right, Bob?
It's a wonderful place. I recommend trying Emo's Pizza while you're there to get your records.
Why are you always
so-
proselytizing?
just to piss off Dan.
I don't know what kind of steak he has in Emo's Pizza.
Yeah, you're like fucking the mooch coming in here trying to pump vaccines, even though his company's invested in it. That's what's going on here. How
Yeah.
much? What do you like? You part of Big Pizza?
Yeah, part of Big Provel.
You're a piece of shit. St. Louis sucks, by the way. So do the Ribs.
I mean, the Cardinals are pretty good, though.
Are they?
Best fans baseball.
God damn
Do you really believe that they're the best fans in baseball?
I don't. Oh.
Yeah, because look, we know it's not Philly either. Philly are right up there with worst fans. In
Aren't-
baseball.
Well, we're passionate.
I would say, yeah, what
No,
does
no.
their passion count for? Like, if you're...
Passionate isn't throwing batteries at people,
I don't know.
Well, it's
including your own team.
just Jimmy Johnson.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
No, J.D. Drew as well. He got some batteries.
Well, he kind of deserved it. He was asking for it.
Why? Because he left? He got traded.
Well, he asked for it. He literally asked for the trade.
So what? So that's just like we're redefining use of force when it comes to fans pelting people with batteries.
Listen, my dad threw fucking batteries at JD Drew. My grandfather threw snowballs at Santa. I gotta pick up the like slack somewhere else.
Oh, I
don't know.
didn't. So this is a new part of the story. Your father was involved somehow.
Yeah.
I knew J.D. Drew had batteries thrown at him. I didn't know it was your fucking dad.
It was probably my dad.
Oh, you're just making an assumption now.
He was there.
But so it's probably your dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of batteries?
D batteries, biggest batteries.
What do you use D batteries for?
Smoke detectors. That's it.
No, those are
Maglites?
fucking 9-volt batteries,
yeah,
asshole.
the D batteries are in like a Maglite.
Maglite and
Oh, you're
And
right.
J.D. Drew's skull.
and J.D. Yeah, the back of his head.
No, those are C batteries in your Maglite. D's were only used for your 1980s boombox.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought
that's
D
right.
Well, that
was
makes
for
sense, then.
dildo.
Yeah, vibrators as well, but not anymore. Everything's got an onboard battery now. Like if you're still using D battery vibrators, go to fucking adamandeve.com. They're not a sponsor. Just buy something that doesn't have a diesel operated engine on it or something. Jesus Christ, get your shit together, or go full on with a diesel operated actual tool and stop being a pussy. Okay, so what you work with? You're a canine handler in what way? Is it like a drug dog or a bomb dog or what?
Explosive detection right now. So I've had dual purpose once I got out. I've had all explosive detection dogs after that. So, I mean, I've worked hospitals. I worked at embassy. I just fell in love with the D.C. area. There's a lot of work out there.
Yeah, I mean, protecting the people that are most hated in the world is job security because
Yeah.
everybody hates everybody in D.C.
But they have
for
great
sure.
catering, so.
There's pretty good food out there, yeah.
I have a quick question. You said there's a dual purpose dog. Is that an explosive and drugs dog?
Yeah, but they're not. You're not
No.
going to run into them in TSA. Don't worry about it. Like the dogs that are at the airport are not looking for drugs.
Why
buddy,
do
I
you know the
promise.
question I'm going to ask before I
Because
ask
I
it?
can see what you look like, and you look like somebody that just woke up from a fucking heroin nod. Asshole, the fuck are you talking
We had
about?
a late night, okay?
Yeah, whatever. No, for sure. I've thought about that too, and I looked into it. But anyways, talk about dual purpose dogs.
Yeah, dual purpose is attack and explosive or attack and narcotic.
Any other follow-up questions, asshole?
No, I'm good.
Sweet. So Giorgio is now satisfied that he's not going to get stopped for the drugs he carries through airports on a regular basis. I can say, just from my personal experience, I've never been stopped, and I always travel with drugs. Always.
It's CBD.
Your anecdotal evidence does not make me safe, Dan.
No, but you can look at the arrest numbers from TSA that are drug-related over the last 3... Well, the data would be 2016 to 18, I think, is the last available data. You could look at that. It's not very high.
Well, I don't trust data either. I trust the...
You mean-
I trust the expert sitting in the chair across from you.
She doesn't work for TSA, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Canine
no.
expert.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that doesn't
I
mean
had
she
a hard
knows about
time-
the arrest data from TSA, bitch. What the fuck are you talking about?
I had a hard time getting a job, but TSA is like the bottom of the barrel when it comes to canine.
Oh, yeah, I can only
their-
imagine. I mean, I
their
can-
find rate is terrible.
TSA and, man, it's like, if you're out there and you work for TSA, good for you because you're robbing the government, and I never really have a problem with that. But that's a completely useless endeavor. Holy shit. What the fuck are they? I mean, look at the people. Go buy yourself a ticket for. Unfortunately, you can't go in until through the gates until 4 hours before your flight. But give yourself 4 full hours and just sit there and watch the people that get randomly selected. It's like 75-year-old old Jewish ladies and shit in wheelchairs. Like, you've been randomly selected. Oh, is that our fucking problem? Really?
Well, yeah, she's smuggling all the drugs in that wheelchair.
We're not worried about drugs, okay? And if she is smuggling drugs in that wheelchair, then God bless her. I don't even believe in God, but I support that 100%. Leave that old lady alone. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. The fuck is wrong with you guys?
You're going to look like a real fool when an old lady blows up an airplane.
You know what? I'm willing to take that chance, to be honest.
I'd just give it to her.
Yeah,
like,
you got that's one. That's you earned that one for sure.
Yeah.
It's like somebody makes an amazing pass and you get beat. Like, hey man, fuck, what are you gonna do? It's the way it is, right? It sucks that people died, I guess.
Everybody gets one.
Yeah, well, we still gotta. She's dead in this scenario, so it's not like we can fucking exact justice upon her. What are you gonna do? Go pee on her fucking burned body?
I mean, maybe.
Is that what you're recommending? Peeing on a burned old lady? Even though she's a terrorist, she's still an old lady.
Yeah, I know. I actually had this conundrum. It's like a ethical thing where is it okay to punch a Nazi?
Like an actual Nazi.
Like an actual 95-year-old Nazi?
I would say yes.
Okay.
I don't think just being 95 excludes you from being punched in the face. Why would it?
Well, ask Conor McGregor, yeah.
Yeah, but he punched the guy and he didn't go down. That's a difference.
Yeah, that's because he's
Conor
Irish.
McGregor is a bitch.
But no, it's just like, are you, like, what's the ethics of punching? It's because he's still a frail 95-year-old man, probably in a chair, probably in a diaper.
But he's also Nazi.
But he's also Nazi.
Like, how Nazi, though, right?
You know, it's like one of those guys that gets tried for, like, sitting in a tower at Auschwitz.
Yeah, that's fuck him. You
Not
can
war
punch him.
crimes.
You can punch him all the way up until the point he dies.
So not war crimes?
What do you mean?
That's a war crime.
That's a war crime. He's more of an accessory than a doer.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter if you were an employee at one of the places and you got hammered.
Oh yeah, no, they're trying an old lady secretary now
Yeah.
for that shit too.
Yeah.
What's the age cutoff there? Like, how young do you have to be when committing those crimes to no longer be tried now?
Like 3 digits?
No, I'm saying with the Nazi youth. Like,
Oh,
if you're
yeah,
under
I mean-
12, like, are you...
You're asking if we should go charge the Pope Benedict?
Yes,
Or all the kids that defended Berlin.
exactly.
I mean, there's probably some number that's appropriate. Yeah. I don't know what it would be. Like, what's the age of reason for religion? It's probably that for being a Nazi too, right?
You do your confirmation in Catholicism in 8th grade because that's
I was
your
6th.
You were 6th?
Yeah.
Wow, they really got you.
They did.
They wanted you in there.
The Holy Spirit entered me pretty early.
Sounds like it.
Entered you, huh?
Yeah, he enters you.
Like,
It's like how you think.
Yeah.
It's like a penis.
oh,
Yeah.
boy. Well, I can see now why you guys are so devout.
Yeah.
I mean, they get you pretty early.
Yeah, I was always a guy too. Like I was like, speak Latin. I'm not one of those Vatican II guys. Like, keep it in Latin while you're doing this to me.
So you were this just for the audience's sake, so we're not being too subtle. You're getting raped by an old man, and you've requested that
No,
he
a
speak.
spirit.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was
a ghost.
And what makes you think that the ghost spoke Latin?
Yeah, well, I just want him to be traditional.
Yeah.
Traditional according to whom?
Well, the Catholic Church would speak in Latin up until like
60s,
1900s.
60, like the 60s.
Yeah, and the priest would also have his back to you.
Yeah. I just want a tradition.
He would have his back to you. Why?
That's because
couldn't look into the face of a
fuck you, you
priest, yeah.
peasant. Like he's talking to God. What do you? That's why.
This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. And they were wearing gold robes.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? And people believe this shit.
It's pretty cool.
No, it's not pretty cool.
It's just old.
That's the dumbest shit. I've ever heard.
Scientology and Mormonism, it's all just too new.
Yeah. What do you want? Some fucking Blue Jean Dave up there with a twang in his accent, talking about how he sees Jesus every time he drives to Walmart.
Before all this dumb shit started, the fucking the Stoics already had a full belief system that didn't involve a god, that made a lot of sense. And then all this stuff came after. So what the fuck, dude? I mean, I guess it's like the news, right? You can report the facts, or you can have, one of these retards in the mainstream media, like, oh, so what you mean is this? Like, okay.
I'm taking it a step further. It's like, the Stoics have their nice little indie art house beliefs, and then Catholicism comes along with Transformers. Which one's gonna gross more?
Yeah.
People want a show.
Yeah.
That's why Michael Bay makes the big bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but didn't Shrek do better than Michael Bay's movies?
That's still a show.
Shrek is real, bitch. That happened.
Animation does well all the time.
Shrek is real, yes or no?
Yes.
She doesn't know anything.
You coerced her again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is becoming a pattern for you.
Yeah.
She
I'm
stopped
just here to
listening
sit
people.
and look pretty.
Well, I wouldn't say that in front of a court, probably.
No.
They may not like that. So you're gonna do what now? Dog stuff. We got off track because I hate Rob and St. Louis. But what's next?
Yeah, no. Once I get my DD-214, I really wanted to go overseas, but we kind of pulled out of Afghanistan, so they fucked me again there. But
Well, I'm sorry that you got fucked over by the country ending a 20-year war. That's real.
I know, right?
That's rough for you.
Really didn't fit into my schedule,
yeah.
but I'll rework my plans again, I guess.
So what is it going to be then?
On a serious note, I've been looking at Border Patrol, and I had applied to more than a few police departments, so I'm going to go back to them and see if I can reapply.
Is that something that's common to get hired onto a PD as a dog handler specifically, or is it you have to go do normal cop shit for a while and then come back or whatever? I don't know how that works.
Yeah, no, it's not common, and that's why I have to be super selective about what department I choose, because a lot of them want, a 4-year commitment of working the beat to, then you got to go to SWAT. And
That's
then
how
they
it is in the
require-
sheriff's department. Like you have to, and not all, but most sheriff's departments, especially around big areas, you have to spend 2 years in the prison first, like being a prison guard. Fuck that
Right.
shit.
Right. I'm 31. I don't have time for that. So, Border Patrol, though, they actually look at how many hours of like leash time you have, where you've worked, what your experiences is, how many certifications you have, and go, okay, fine. Like, give us 2 years, learn our system in your area, and then you're an asset. So we're going to put that to good use, and you could go Canine.
And where do you live now?
I'm in Virginia.
Virginia, okay. So in like the DC metro?
Yep.
And obviously you're not going to be there doing dog work at the beginning for Border Patrol at least.
No. The plan was to get down to Texas. I don't like the politics in Virginia. I don't like how expensive it is. I don't like how rude the people are.
Oh, people are rude in Virginia. I haven't spent a whole lot of time in Virginia, I must admit. I try to avoid that area, DC especially. But what do you mean rude? What are they rude about?
just in general, like you come down to Texas, you walk down the street, people will say hello to you. It's not like that in DC. It's like people are asking what your job is before they ever ask what your name is, because they want to know if you're in politics or if they can get something out of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of ladder climbers out there.
I mean, it's great. It's great working in DC as Canine. Like, I've always been respected. It's a great time. They really take care of you, but it's not where I want to settle and have a family.
No, I wouldn't either. It's a swamp.
Yeah.
Like literally. I know that was a lot of rhetoric that the Trump administration used, but it is literally a swamp in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
If you haven't been, go once. Go walk all the monuments at night, preferably, because there's less people and they're lit up and they look cool. But
Oh, yeah, it's gorgeous. I
Yeah.
mean, if you go to the city just to enjoy the museums and whatnot, definitely go. But, yeah, the hypocrisy of everyone who actually lives there.
well, no, it's not, I don't even know if it's hypocrisy. I just don't think anybody actually believes anything other than I need my side to win, because I've moralized that now, and that's the only way we can win is if my side wins. I think that's kind of how it is.
Yeah, my
to be
stepdad
honest.
was a congressman. I know very well what the
What was your stepdad's name?
Rod Blum. He was the Republican out of Iowa, which is where I grew up.
And he does what now?
I think he's lobbying. I don't know. I don't really talk.
Iowa's not a real fucking place. We've described that and discussed it at great length on this show over the years. It's, I gotta say, it's weird that see, now I don't think you're even a real person. Although you said this is your stepdad.
Yeah.
He's probably a Cylon. You guys watch Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah.
He's like a Cylon agent. They look like us now.
Yeah.
So
I think all the Cylons that aren't worth having sex with are a waste of time. Like, get that old man off the screen.
yeah, but that's fucking the dude that talks to Ziggy, man.
Yeah.
The fuck. Just relax.
All right. Just like, why
anyways.
make an ugly old man Cylon? Just make them
know.
all hot.
No, we can't talk about Battlestar Galactica much because Brittany's watching it for the first time, and I don't want to spoil anything for her. Giorgio, stop looking at me. Son of a bitch. Anyways, Rod Blum, he was a Tea Party guy, I see, and he doesn't do that anymore. Did you ask him?
I mean, we don't keep in touch. I mean, I asked him for any assistance when I was getting out, and he said no, that would be unethical, which I found to be hilarious.
Yeah, it's any time a politician says something is unethical, that just means they're bored with the question, probably, right?
Well, to go a little bit further, I was kicked out of the house when I was 15, right? Because I was sexually assaulted by a pedophile, and that was my fault. So because he was on his way to his congressional, whatever they fucking call it when they join Congress, that didn't look right for him. So I couldn't live with my mom and my stepdad, and I couldn't live with my dad. So I moved in with my aunt and uncle. And then I remember graduating like my senior year of high school, and I got a video to a YouTube link for his campaign, and he had adopted a kid from his basketball team so that he could use that to push his campaign, saying that he's like a family man.
Interesting.
But yeah, you have a kid living in your house for 15 years that like needs some assistance, but I'm too much of a piece of work.
Well, he sounds like a great guy. Apparently, he was, let's see, the Associated Press in 2018 reported he had violated House ethics rules by failing to disclose his role in a company that he formed. He was listed as the director of an internet marketing company, 10 Moon Corporation, when it was incorporated in May 2016. His 10 Moon's address is listed in the same Dubuque, which is not a real place, office as a construction software company that Bloom owns, Digital Canal, and Bloom's chief of staff was featured in online testimonials, blah, blah, blah. That's nothing new, right?
Yeah.
I mean, politicians are cunts. We all know that.
Yeah.
Actually, there's some stickers around here that say that. Well, it sounds awesome that your stepdad's such a cunt. Should have been, or that must have been fun growing up.
I mean, I got to take a lot of pictures with people when I was a kid, so I guess that's cool.
Who was somebody you met that was, cool or surprising or whatever?
Rush Limbaugh. He's very animated.
Well, not anymore. Because he's fucking dead. Did you guys get that? Can you look that up?
Yeah, buried in St. Louis, Missouri.
Nobody gives a fuck about St. Louis. Is that where he's from?
I don't know if he's from St. Louis, but he lived most of his life in the boot heel.
I mean, that would explain the obesity and prescription drug addictions if you were from St. Louis.
100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so who else? Rush Limbaugh, who else?
Wait, he was that rich and lived in the Boot Hill?
If you're that rich, it doesn't really matter where you live.
There's a ton of like radio money in Cape Girardeau.
Yeah, but what does
Really
radio
weird.
money do?
It spins.
Yeah, it's
like
money.
all other money. He was worth $500 million, motherfucker.
Right, but he lived the life of a middle-class Catholic.
Wow. You said Catholic like somebody who was reading it for the first time, but you weren't reading anything. That was your own brain that did that.
I'm out of drugs.
Do you understand how problematic that is?
He's sober. That's the
Are you
problem.
really?
I didn't have time to get high this morning.
Here, dude.
I'll be over there in a minute.
God damn. I can't deal with this anymore. You guys are pissing me off. Get high or get the fuck out. That's the company policy.
I have an actual question.
Oh, boy.
For her.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. How much of a liability would Clifford the Big Red Dog actually be?
I don't know. Is he an attack dog or is he just a big dog?
He's just big. He's massive. You know Clifford.
Okay, none.
You don't think he'd be a complete, he'd be reckless?
He's definitely reckless. And to be honest, out of the two of you, I could see him doing drugs before you. For sure. Clifford, he's been on drugs this whole time, probably.
I mean, he does do a lot of stupid stuff.
He's probably
He's
a
always getting-
So my fucking
People that big are in pain all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Sounds like you're just gonna have a really expensive food and medication bill.
I just don't think he's even that big. My little 11-year-old Boston Terrier that weighs 15 pounds, thinks that he's way bigger and tougher than the 95-pound 3-year-old Cane Corso, and the Cane Corso agrees, right? And I can tell that the Cane Corso doesn't know how large he is because he gets in my fucking lap. And, you know, I don't sit in people's laps, not only because it's weird and uncomfortable, because I understand that I weigh 220 pounds, and that is not cool to do that.
Most dogs get excited, and they think they're lap dogs. And imagine if Clifford was that way. He just gets excited, hops over to a town, and just destroys it.
Yeah, he's like the Hulk, right?
Just friendlier.
Well, certainly friendlier, which, you know, I don't know how... Can he be trained to not destroy things? I'm not very familiar with Clifford the Red Dog. I know more about Atreyu, I guess, right?
I don't know who Atreyu is.
It's from the Neverending. What the
I
fuck?
thought you were talking about the band.
Both, I guess.
Right.
I don't think that Atreyu would be like the band would be
2008.
Yeah, they're probably not going to hurt anybody. Are they one of the bands whose lead singer got arrested for murdering people? Because I don't remember who that was, but it was one of those bands. Anyways,
I know a little bit more about Cujo, so.
Cujo, yeah, that's old as fuck. Who's in that? Who's the actor in Cujo?
That was a goalie for the Maple Leafs, right?
Was it Telly?
It was Curtis Joseph is who you're thinking of.
What?
Curtis Joseph.
No, there's a movie called Cujo.
Yeah, with the dog. Top cast, there's not really anyone in it. It's like Dee Wallace. I don't fucking know.
Who the fuck is Dee Wallace?
Yeah, exactly. That's like the main mom.
Well, the dog is dead.
Yeah.
Because that was 1983. What was the story of Cujo? Was he like demon possessed or some shit?
Yeah,
he got rabies.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A dog with rabies, and they made a movie about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just
It's a
goes bananas.
Fucking shotgun.
They didn't have
Shoot
one.
him. Yeah, in 1983, everyone had shotguns. Jesus Christ. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It was a slow year for Hollywood. I don't know.
83? Can we look that up? Who won the Academy Awards in 1983? Let's look it up.
Do we have any movies about killer cats?
I'm not the Navy. I actually do my research.
And how did Cujo only get one film, but Air Bud got like 16?
Because Air Bud can duck, motherfucker. Are
he's
you
got
kidding me?
talent.
The fuck out of here, dude.
And fucking people up with your face isn't a talent?
No, it's a very short-lived talent. I mean,
He's a multiple sport athlete.
yeah. Baseball, basketball, some other ones.
Soccer.
Yeah. Soccer's not a real sport. but
Right.
Gandhi won Best Picture that year.
That movie fucking sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't a good movie.
Beat E.T.
Oh, yeah, E.T. was 83. Yeah. E.T. was a good movie,
Yeah.
I think.
E.T. holds up.
Does it hold up? I always wonder what he did with his glowing finger, like off camera.
A lot of stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, actually. The 83 awards were for 82. So the 83 best winner was Terms of Endearment.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah.
What else? What about the actors and shit?
Best actor went to Robert Duvall for Tender Mercies.
Well, I like Robert Duvall, but that sounds gay.
Yeah.
So
Terms of Endearment just cleaned the fuck up. Got Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor. Really all over the place. Best Director.
What is Terms of Endearment?
I don't fucking know.
I'm sure I should know.
Something stupid. It's a family comedy drama directed by James L. Brooks.
I don't know what any of that means.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That all sounds really stupid. I'm gonna look it up. Maybe I'll recognize it by the movie cover. No, that looks terrible. Oh, Jack Nicholson's in it. I like him. I like Shirley MacLaine.
He got an Oscar for that as well.
Jeff Daniels. It's a good cast. Deborah Winger. Shit. You don't get any better than that. The fuck out of here, man. All right. Well, we're about to wrap up here, so I want to know. You're looking into Border Patrol now, and what's the ultimate goal after that? I mean, obviously, you must have some long-term goals.
Yeah, no, for me, I just wanted to continue to serve not at, a sports stadium, but
Right.
actual like tracking, search and rescue really interests me. So for me, I just want to get connected to a police department that will let me put all of my previous skills within Canine to good use, and then just continue to build on that, because why not? I mean, Canine's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I like dogs, right? That's
Yeah.
what that dude in Snatch said. That's a good movie, too.
You like Dags?
Yeah, I do. Periwinkle Blue. I thought that was probably Brad Pitt's best movie. Other than maybe Fight Club is right there, too. What do you think?
Troy?
That's his hottest movie.
He was greased up a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Although the sinewy look in Fight Club, I'm not looking to fuck the dude. I'm looking for somebody to go to war with, and that
Right.
looked better to me.
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying he was so hot in Troy that like you didn't even notice Rose Byrne.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. All
right.
eyes on Brad.
Anyways, well, look, I'm glad you got your shit upgraded. That's good. You can move on with your fucking life now. And for others that are in the military, if you're young in the military, you're planning on going in, make sure you know your rights and don't sign any dumb shit. I mean, honestly, because it's going to take you a while to fucking unfuck the government. If you think that they move slowly when they owe you shit, imagine when they're like against you, what happens? They move slowly on purpose. It's like
Yeah.
a fucking, it's like, what do you call it? Dead slow is a literal speed setting on a fucking large ship or something like that. Dead, what is it called? Dead, I think it's dead slow, isn't it? Whatever the fuck. Yeah, so if you have any questions, maybe reach out to that, what's it called? The attorney place you went through?
Military Justice Center.
Military Justice Center, or ask some people that would actually know and don't depend on the Joe News Network, because privates and specialists and even sergeants are fucking stupid and they don't know anything about the law. Ask somebody who actually fucking knows what they're doing. Cool. Well, thanks for coming out today. We appreciate it. I hope everything goes well for you in the future. And enjoy working dogs, I guess.
Yeah.